Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum, participants of the course. This is the second session of the first module. Our first session was on the power of perspectives. And today we'll be mainly speaking on human perception and learning and how is the human perception framework developed. And inshallah, in our next session, we will be discussing the actual dynamics of learning. The fourth session will be on the skills and tools of learning. So that will be the final session. Let's go through the summary of what we did in our last session, the first session. The main focus in that session was the role which perspectives play in human action. I say only human action because as we have discussed, basically our action depends upon how we perceive things, right? So, and our action is according to how we perceive things. So the actual impact of the perspectives that we carry is on our actions. We discussed the importance of how our perspectives give us a dimension or how they position us in a dimension, and from that dimension we look at things. This is very important. If we have a secular dimension, we will look at things from the secular perspective, right? And if we have Quranic dimension, we will look at things from the Quranic perspectives. Then we discuss Surah Fatiha, one of the most recited surah, and probably a very important surah to give us dimensions. Few important things. If the praise are only for the Creator who created everything, and then He is the Rabb, the Creator, the Sustainer, the Cherisher, the Controller of all the alams or all the systems. And then very important thing was that only we seek your guidance. Your guidance is the most reliable guidance. And in the last part, which is of equally importance, is that we pledge that we will not follow the people who have sustained your anger or who have been misguided. So we have to really reflect whose guidance are we following right now. Then we also discuss a very important aspect which many of us are not aware of, is how the systems are developed. The world is run on everything is run on systems. Your personal life is run on systems, right? So if the systems are not as per the perspective, as per the Quranic perspective, the perspective that you really long for, like we Muslims, we believe that only the Quranic perspective are the most secure perspective. So if it is not developed from that ideological perspective, then we have to think a lot, especially about our akhirah. And then we went through a beautiful small movie skit, which was fantastic trip. That was basically to put us in the right perspective, where we stand before our Creator, and that nothing is small or big in the eyes of Creator. Everything has its own importance. We discussed God and nature. We discussed the nature, the laws of God to run this world, and we discussed the law of cause and effect, which is the law of nature created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and which is one of the most important laws uh, uh, in this world, and which has a lot of influence for us. So if we deny the laws of cause and effect, it's only we lead ourselves to confusion. Then we discuss that our hujjah is basically what our creator wants us to develop, right? I mean, Quran is our hujjah. Nature is our hujjah because nature itself is a book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the common sense that He has given us. So these are three very important things that we should really care when we speak of logic. And then we discuss the Deen and Dunya paradox. And what we discussed, that we cannot leave our deen even for a single moment. We have to be in deen 24/7. Okay, so deen and dunya are not two separate things. Dunya comes within the scope of deen, and dunya is what will decide what reward we get in akhirah. Few ayats that we quoted were from the perspective of what will happen if we follow the non-Muslims, the warning given to us by the Holy Quran itself. And then finally we had discussed about whether there is any logic in deen. And the issue is, for anything to be internalized, we pass it through our logic filter. So if we keep the deen, the logic out of deen, so what I feel, we cannot internalize deen, and that is what is probably is the scenario right now. We keep deen separate out of logic, and we take the Hellenic logic or the Greek logic as the only logic, which is incorrect. Logic is actually your common sense, how you justify your actions or your belief. So logic is very important for internalization.